Our next topic is compound interest. Now suppose your brother decides to buy a new scooter, but he does not have enough money. So he decides to take a vehicle loan from the bank. That means he decided to borrow money from the bank. He decided to borrow money from the bank. Borrow money from the bank. Now another person, Raju, he saved some amount or he saved some money from his salary. He decided to deposit that amount or that money in the bank. He decided to deposit the money in the bank. Deposit. So when we take a loan, we will consider these two situations. So when we take a loan or when we borrow money from the bank for a specified period, after that period, we have to give the money borrowed along with some additional money. Additional money or additional amount after the specified period. Similarly, when we deposit money in the bank for a specified period, after that period, we will get the money deposited along with some additional amount. This additional amount in these two cases, this additional amount is known as the interest. The additional amount is known as the interest. And the money deposited or borrowed is known as the principal or the sum borrowed or sum deposited. So the money deposited or borrowed is known as the principal. The sum borrowed or sum deposited, that is known as the principal. And we will get some additional amount. This additional amount is known as the interest. The additional amount is known as the interest. Now look at that. The money borrowed or deposited, we can call it as the principal. Principal. So the principal means the money borrowed or deposited. Now the additional money which we pay when we take a loan or which the bank pays us when we deposit the money, so that additional amount is known as the interest. Interest. Now the total money to be paid or received back at the end of the specified period, we can take it as the amount. It is known as the amount. Now the principal we can denote by the letter P, capital letter P, interest by I, amount we can denote by the letter A. Then amount is equal to, so that means the amount we will get at the end of the specified period, amount equal to principal plus interest. So the amount will be equal to principal plus interest. So after specified period, we will get the amount or we have to pay back to the bank. So that amount will be equal to the principal plus interest. Now the interest depends upon the money borrowed or money deposited. The interest depends upon the money borrowed or money deposited. Now the calculation of interest is based on the interest rate. So if you know the interest rate only, we can calculate the interest. That amount we can calculate. And this interest rate is usually expressed in terms of percentage of the principal over a period of 1 year. So the interest is expressed in terms of a percentage, the rate of interest that is given in terms of percentage. And we can say that R% per annum. So per annum means per year, that is R% per year. And in short we can write this per annum as per annum we can write in short as P dot A. So P dot A means per annum, per year. So the rate of interest we will say that R% per annum, R% per year, and in short we can write it as P dot A. Now the rate of interest R%. So the meaning is that it is the interest on rupees 100 for 1 year. It is the interest on rupees 100 for 1 year. For example, that means if it is given as 6%, the rate of interest is 6%. So the meaning is that the interest on rupees 100, the interest on rupees 100 for 1 year, the interest on rupees 100 for 1 year is rupees 6. So in order to calculate the interest, we have to know about the interest rate, and it is given in terms of the percentage, and that means the percentage of the principal over a period of 1 year, and R% per annum. And if the rate of interest is given, what is the meaning? That the interest on rupees 100 for 1 year. So 6%, the rate of interest is 6%, means the interest on rupees 100 for 1 year is rupees 6. And the rate of interest is denoted by the letter R and the time. So we have to borrow the money or we have to deposit the money for a specified period. So how many years? So we can use the letter T in order to denote the number of years. So time in years is denoted by the letter T. Now we have two types of interest. One is simple interest and the second one is compound interest. The first one is simple interest and the second one is compound interest. You have already learnt about the simple interest. How to find out the simple interest? You have already learned. So how can you calculate the simple interest? The simple interest is equal to principal into rate into time divided by 100. So we can write down the formula as PRT divided by P into R into T divided by 100. So the simple interest. But the compound interest, when we do the calculation of compound interest, we have to calculate the interest on the previous year's amount. So we have to calculate the interest on previous year's amount. So that is the difference. So we will look into the problems. So we have two types of interest. One is simple interest, you have already learned, and the second one is compound interest. So here we want to learn about the compound interest. And the simple interest we can calculate using the formula PRT divided by 100. Now suppose one question, simple interest, principal is 5,000, rate of interest is 10% per annum. Now if you calculate the simple interest for 1 year, simple interest for 1 year. So here what is the value of T? So the formula is P into R into T divided by 100. So P is given 5,000 into rate is 10 and the time, so simple interest for 1 year. So T we can take it as 1 divided by 100. So 100 and 5,000 we can cancel, we will get 50. So the interest for 1 year is rupees 500. 50 into 10, 500. Suppose if you want to find out the simple interest for 2 years, how will you calculate the simple interest for 2 years? 1 year it is 500. So 2 years what will be the value? 500 into 2. Okay, so we can find out. For 1 year interest, if you know 2 years interest 500 into 2, you will get it as 1000. Suppose if you apply the formula, how can you find out? So P into R into T divided by 100, so equal to 5000 into 10 into T, number of years 2 divided by 100. So we can cancel 100 and 5000, we will get 50. So 50 into 10 into 2, so what is the answer? Rupees 1000. So the interest, simple interest for 2 years is 1000. Suppose if you want to find out the simple interest for 3 years, how can you find out the answer? So it will be equal to P into R into T divided by 100. So 1 year it is 500. So 3 years it will be 500 into 3. So what you will get? 500 into 3. So you will get it as 1500. Suppose if you use the formula to find out the simple interest for 3 years, so it will be 5000 into 10 into 3 divided by 100. So 100 and 5000 we can cancel, so you will get 50. So 50 into 10 into 3, 50 into 10, 500 into 3, 1500. So you will get the interest as 1500. Now here you look at that, here the principal, there is no change for the principal. All the time we selected the principal as 5000. So every year, that means the amount at the end of the first year, first year will be, initially we have 5000, at the end of first year you will get 5500. So 5000 plus 500, you will get 5500 as the amount at the end of the first year. But if you want to calculate the simple interest for the second year, that time also we will take the principal as what? 5000. The initial amount we will take it. So for the simple interest calculation, we will take the principal. There is no change for the principal amount. So the principal remains the same for in the calculation of simple interest. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years or 4 years, there is no change for the principal. But the total amount will be principal plus interest. That will be changing every year. But that change is not included in the calculation of the simple interest. So in the case of simple interest, the principal remains the same. Now compound interest calculation. So compound interest calculation, we have to fix a certain time interval. The compound interest calculation, we have to fix a certain time interval. So we can take it as year wise, yearly. Say we will say that the interest is calculated yearly, or we will say that annually, yearly or annually, or that means year wise. Then half year, that means every 6 months, we can calculate the interest. Then we will call it as a half yearly. The interest calculation is half yearly. And again, the third one, quarter of a year. That means every 3 months we can calculate the interest, and we can say that it is a quarterly. So here we have to fix up a time, and a time interval is there. Compound interest we can calculate year wise, yearly, or every 6 months. So in 1 year, 2 times the interest calculation will come. 1 year, 6 months, 6 months, 6 plus 6, we will get it as 12. So 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, then 6 months. So 6 plus 6, 12. So in 1 year, we have 2 times the interest calculation will come. If we calculate the interest half yearly, and quarterly means every 3 months we can calculate the interest, then we will say that it is the interest is calculated quarterly. So we have to fix a time interval, and here in the calculation it will be mentioned where we have to calculate yearly or half yearly or quarterly. Now look at that. Find the compound interest on rupees 5000 for 3 years at 10% per annum. Now how we can calculate the compound interest? Simple interest we already learned how to find out. Then compound interest. So compound interest, using the simple interest formula, we can calculate the compound interest. Okay. So year by year calculation. So here first of all I will show the year by year calculation. How to find out the compound interest. So using year by year calculation. Now the principal for the first year, so rupees 5000. Now we have to first principal for the first year. Now we have to calculate the interest for the first year using the simple interest formula, that is PRT divided by 100. PRT divided by 100, that is 5000 into R is 10 by then into 1 by 100. So we can cancel 100 and 5000. So we will get 50. So we will get the interest as rupees 500. Then what we have to do in the compound interest calculation, we have to find out the amount at the end of the first year. How can you find out the amount? Amount means a principal plus interest. So principal means a principal for the first year rupees 5000 rupees 5,000 plus rupees 500. So we will get it as rupees 5,500 amount at the end of the first year, rupees 5,500. So principal for the second year, the principal for the second year is the amount at the end of the first year. So what is the amount at the end of the first year? Rupees 5,500. So here the principal changes. So amount principal for the second year will be the amount at the end of the first year. Now we have to calculate the interest for the second year using the simple interest formula PRT divided by 100. So 5,500 into R is 10 into 1 divided by 100. Then we can cancel 100 and 5,500. We will get 55. So we will get the answer as rupees 550. So the second year interest is rupees 550. Then we have to find out the amount at the end of the second year. Amount at the end of the second year means the principal for the second year, that is 5,500 plus rupees 5,500 plus rupees 550. So which is equal to 5,500 plus 550. So we will get it as 6,050. So 6,050 is the amount at the end of the second year. So that will be the principal for the third year, that is 6,050. 6,050 is the principal for the third year. So interest for the third year using the simple interest formula, 6,050 into 10 by 1, 10 into 1 by 100. So we can cancel, we will get it as rupees 605. So the amount at the end of the third year, that will be equal to amount at the end of the second year is rupees 6,050 plus rupees 605. So we will get it as 6,050 plus 605. So 5, 5, 6, 6. So we will get the amount as rupees 6,655. So that is the amount at the end of the third year. Then how can you calculate the compound interest? So the compound interest we can calculate. So first of all we have to find out the amount. Then compound interest is equal to amount minus principal, A minus P. A stands for the amount, P stands for the principal. Amount minus principal. So amount is 6,655, 6,655 minus the principal. So the initial, that means the principal for the first year 5,000. So 6,655 minus 5,000. So we will get it as 5,561. So we will get it as rupees 1,655. So first of all we have to find out the amount at the end of the third year. We have to calculate the compound interest on 3 years. So amount at the end of the third year we have to find out. Then compound interest is equal to amount minus principal. So we will get the answer as 1,655. Or otherwise when you add the interest at different years, you will get the compound interest. Now look at that, which are the interest 500, 550 and 605. 500, 550 and 605. So these are the interest. Interest for the first year, interest for the second year, interest for the third year. 5, 5, so 1,655. But look at this method. It is a lengthy method. It will take lot of time. So banks and everything, they won't use the simple interest calculation. They will use the compound interest calculation. And if you do the compound interest calculation year by year, it will be very difficult. That means it is a lengthy process. So we have a formula. So the formula is, if you want to find out the compound interest, when the interest is compounded annually, if you are calculating the interest, compound interest annually means what? Year wise, yearly. If you are calculating the interest yearly, the formula is, first of all you have to find out the amount. The formula is P into principal into 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to n. So first of all we have to find out the amount. So what is the formula? Amount equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 all raised to n. A stands for amount, P means the principal, R means the rate of interest, and n is the number of years. So when the interest, compound interest is calculated or compounded annually, year-wise calculation, then the formula is A equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to n. First of all you have to find out the amount. Then compound interest is equal to amount minus principal. Compound interest, amount minus principal. So we can look at one problem. Now look at this question. Find the compound interest on rupees 10,000 for 2 years at 10% per annum, compounded annually. 10% per annum compounded annually. So year wise you have to find out. Then what is the compound interest? So if you want to find out the compound interest, what you have to find out? You have to find out the amount. So amount at the end of 2 years, amount at the end of 2 years, so which is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to n, which is equal to, so P is rupees 10,000, R is a 10% and it is compounded annually. Find the compound interest for a 2 years and n is equal to 2 years. Now substitute here 10,000 into 1 plus 10 by 100 whole raised to 2. Now the calculation is very important. 10,000 into 1 plus 10 by 100. So that should be in bracket whole raised to 2. Now how can you simplify this one? First of all you have to simplify 1 plus 10 by 100. So first you take it 10 by 100. So 10 by 100 we can cancel with the 10 one time, here it is a 10. So 1 by 10. So 10,000 into 1 plus 1 by 10, put the bracket, 1 plus 1 by 10 is in bracket, whole raised to 2. Now we have to find out 1 plus 1 by 10. 1 plus 1 by 10. 1 we can write it as 1 by 1 plus 1 by 10. Then 10 is the LCM, so we can write 10 by 10 plus 1 by 10. Then 10, so the denominator is same, so add the numerators 11 by 10. So we will get 11 by 10. So 10,000 into 11 by 10 the whole square. 11 by 10 the whole square. 11 by 10 should be in bracket. Then which is equal to 10,000 into 11 by 10 the whole square means 11 by 10 into 11 by 10. Now we can cancel with the 10, so you will get 1000 again with the 10, so we will get 100. So 100 into 11 into 11, so 100 into 11 into 11, 121. So we will get it as, what we will get, 12,100. So we will get the amount as 12,100. So that is the amount at the end of 2 years. After 2 years the amount will be 1,21,000. So we got the amount as rupees 12,100. Rupees 12,100. Therefore compound interest is equal to amount minus principal. So the amount is rupees 12,100 minus rupees 10,000. So, rupees 12,100 minus rupees 10,000. So, 12,100 minus rupees 10,000, rupees 2,100. So, we will get the compound interest as rupees 2,100. So, first of all you have to calculate the amount for the specified period, then after that compound interest is equal to amount minus principal, then we will get the compound interest. Now, we can calculate the interest half yearly also, compound interest half yearly. That means after every 6 months we can calculate the interest. Then the formula is changed into amount is equal to, so here also we have to calculate the amount equal to P into 1 plus the interest we have to calculate 2 times. So, the time period becomes twice and the rate becomes half. The rate will become R by 2, half of the rate, because we have to calculate the interest 2 times. So, the rate will become half. So, the formula for the compound interest is when it is calculated annually is R by 100 whole raised to n. Now, if you want to calculate it to half yearly, P into 1 plus R will become R by 2, half of the rate of interest, divided by 100 whole raised to n. N here it is the number of years. So, we have to find out how many half years. In 1 year, how many half years are there? 2 half years. So, here it will be 2n. So, 2n denotes number of half years. 2n denotes number of half years. So, we can write down the formula like this. When it is compounded half yearly, P into 1 plus R by 200. R by 200, 2 will come in the denominator. So, we can write it as 1 plus R by 200 whole raised to 2n. So, this is the formula to find out the amount when the interest is compounded half yearly. So, the interest is compounded half yearly means the rate becomes half. So, that is included in the formula. So, and n means the number of years in the case of when it is compounded annually, and half yearly you have to find out how many half years in 1 year, that is 2 half years. So, the n will be changed into 2n, and 2n means the number of half years. So, the formula will be A equal to P into 1 plus R by 200 whole raised to 2n. So, we can do the problem when it is, so the question it will be given the interest is compounded half yearly. Now, what is the difference between the simple interest and the compound interest? Simple interest, principal remains the same throughout the period. There is no change for the principal. For 5 years if you find out, there is no change for the initial amount, principal remains. And the interest is also same for every year. There is no change for the interest also. In the example we have already seen. So, there is no change for the interest also. There is no change for the interest is same for every year. Every year the interest will be same. And the principal change, in the case of compound interest, principal changes after every year. So, there is a change in the principal in the case of compound interest, and interest increases every year. There is an increase in the amount of the interest because the principal changes, therefore, the interest also changes. And we have the formula simple interest P into R into T divided by 100, and the compound interest when it is compounded annually, first of all you can find out the amount P into 1 plus R by 100 all raised to n, then compound interest equal to amount minus principal, and in the case of half yearly it is a P into 1 plus R by 200 all raised to 2n, and the compound interest is amount minus principal. And if it is quarterly, it is not given in your textbook, but if it is if you want to find out the amount, if the interest is compounded quarterly, the P into 1 plus the rate will become 1/4 of the initial rate, 1/4 of the rate. So r by 400 all raised to 4n, all raised to 4n. If it is a compounded quarterly, here it is a compounded quarterly, because in one year there are 4 quarters. So the rate will, we have to take 1/4 of the rate, r will become r by 4, and how many quarters in 1 year? So there are 4 quarters, therefore 4n denotes the number of quarters. Okay, number of quarters, 4n denotes number of quarters. So here then we can calculate the amount, and after that we can find out the compound interest amount minus principal. So in this case, here it is when we have to find out the compound interest when the interest is compounded half yearly. This one is for half yearly, and the first one when the interest is compounded yearly. So you have to learn the formula, and using the formula you can calculate the compound interest. So that's all for today's class. Thank you.